Over the last few years, I've cut my luxury collection by about half. For example, I've sold 60% of my Cartier jewelry collection. 2 years ago, I let go of my Cartier Love bracelet and the Cartier Just Uncle bracelet. And recently, I also sold my Just Uncle ring. A very common question I get is, are you not worried about regretting your decisions, especially because designer items are always going up in prices? Now, I don't have all the answers, but I know I'm a lot happier, and I want to share with you the things I've learned from halving my designer collection. First of all, I realized regret or seller's remorse is not always a bad thing. I've always said I never really have any major seller's remorse, but there is one thing I kind of wish I didn't sell, which is the Louis Vuitton Montaigne MM in the black emprunt leather. I really enjoyed using this bag, but I decided to sell it because I wanted to make room for my Hermes Kelly 28, which ironically I've not been using much. But here's the thing, even though I sometimes miss the Louis Vuitton Montaigne MM, I never feel like rushing to the Louis Vuitton store to buy another one. So what I've learned from all this is things are just things, and if you make a mistake, it's quite okay. It's really not the end of the world. I try to be rational with how I declutter, but just like everything else in life, not all my decisions will be perfect. But for me, the benefits of downsizing simply outweigh the potential and occasional regrets or seller's remorse. Another thing I've learned from halving my luxury collection is I don't have to be too strict with myself. Sometimes there are things that I don't use much, but I'm not ready to let them go yet for whatever reason. And if I feel like I need more time to think it over, then that's exactly what I'll do. At the beginning of my decluttering journey, a lot of my decisions were driven by guilt because I really beat myself up for spending so mindlessly, and I wanted to reverse my mistakes. And I was so rigid with myself about how much I wanted to declutter by a certain time. And you can imagine it was quite stressful, especially when you're dealing with fairly expensive pieces. I'm still not perfect, and I'm still learning not to be too hard on myself because what is done, and it's more important to be intentional going forward. After halving my luxury collection, I also realized that if you want to downsize or declutter, it is up to you to decide about what to keep and what to let go of. Now, there's some really amazing decluttering videos out there, and I think they are great for people who are looking for inspirations or very general rules of thumb, but they are not specific, nor are they tailored to our preferences, needs, occupations, family size, body shapes, hair color, and so on and so forth. I think you get the idea. Something else I've learned from halving my luxury collection is when you own less things, you have more time. Now, the selling process is time consuming, but once I've decluttered my way to a smaller collection, I got so much time back. Now I have less decision fatigue, and I also spend less time on tidying, cleaning, organizing, and shopping. When I look back at the last 2 years, I'm so glad I took the time to slow down and reflect on what I value in life rather than just going through the motion like a zombie. So I've been doing a lot of journaling, and the things that keep popping up on my list of priorities include having the flexibility of my own time, finding my passion, and doing more of what I like. Some of you know I've been really enjoying drawing on my iPad using Procreate, and I want to thank Skillshare for sponsoring this video because honestly, I probably wouldn't have found this creative outlet if I hadn't been taking classes on Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community. This is the perfect place to pick up a new skill or explore your creativity. I've taken classes on yoga, photography, filming, and so much more, but I especially enjoy the classes on digital drawing. Last week, I took a class by Gabrielle Brickey, and it's called digital illustration, coloring female characters in Procreate. There are some really good tips on how to play with colors, shadows, and lighting in this class. I often draw females because drawing is a way for me to express my own emotions and feeling. So this class is really interesting and inspiring for me. If you're interested to try out Skillshare, which I highly recommend, I have a link down below, and the first 1,000 people to click on the link will get a free trial of Skillshare Premium membership for 1 month. Another thing I came to realize from halving my luxury collection is that I can actually live on a lot less than I previously thought. In the last few years, I've been selling way more than I've been shopping. Contrary to what some people might think, I never feel deprived with having a smaller collection. That really impacts on my relationship with material things and my general outlook on life. It's like I had this enlightenment that I didn't actually have to work so hard just to sustain an unhealthy shopping behavior. I feel like this is something you have to experience yourself to know how liberating it actually feels. At the moment, I'm spending about 10% of what I used to spend on designer shopping, which is crazy, but I've never been happier or calmer. I feel like there's a sense of peace in me because I know if I ever want to have a break, go part-time, or have a change of career, I will do just fine because my happiness is not dependent on the size of my designer bag collection. I just want to add a little disclaimer here though, because I'm not suggesting to never buy anything. Quite the contrary, I actually see a lot of values in building a timeless collection or wardrobe. In fact, I've been so consistent with low buy myself because I've built my perfect collection. That said, there's just so much more to life than spending all your waking hours and pushing yourself really hard just to buy things you don't even enjoy using. Having my luxury collection also taught me that the perfect minimalist collection is not defined by a number. And it's not like when you reach that certain number of handbags or clothes or shoes, you'll be happily ever after. Decluttering for me is more of a continuous, conscious effort to adjust my possessions based on how my life is changing and evolving. A year ago, I really thought I had arrived at my happy place. I thought that was it, and I never had to worry about listing or selling my items again. But nothing was further from the truth. We all know change is the only consistency in life, and decluttering is just one of the ways we accommodate to those changes. Decluttering my designer collection by half also taught me that I don't have to replace something or fill the space in my wardrobe every time I sell something. This wasn't always easy. I remember years ago when I sold my Celine Nano luggage tote, I got about £700 for it. At first, I was quite upset because the bag was brand new and I couldn't believe how much money I lost from selling it. But that money felt like free money. And you know what I did? I immediately went to Hermes and I bought myself 2 rodeo charms, which I didn't even enjoy using. That cycle went on and on for quite some time. And then I started realizing I wasn't actually downsizing. So to shift my focus, I started putting all the sale money into an investment account because that way I had no access to it. And I did that for quite a long time. And then I started realizing the whole point of decluttering is to curate, not to replace. At the end of the day, if I decide to let something go, it doesn't mean I'm now missing something or that my wardrobe is now incomplete. It really just means I've let go of something that doesn't serve me anymore. Something else I've learned from halving my designer collection is luxury price increases are good news, but only for the luxury houses. In a lot of the cases, selling luxury items and making a profit from it is just not the reality, at least not for individual sellers like me and you. I mean, a lot of the things I've sold were in really good condition, and many were the so-called classic pieces, but that didn't stop me from losing a lot of money. Now, I can understand the sentiment of not wanting to pay more. I guess that's why a lot of people would rush to buy a Louis Vuitton or a Chanel handbag right before the price increase. But sometimes that saving might not be worth it if you end up having to sell the bag anyway because you never like it that much in the first place. Sadly, I have a lot of first-hand experience with this, so now I no longer obsessively check the luxury price increases because I don't want that to influence how and what I buy. So those are the lessons I've learned from decluttering 50% of my designer collection. I hope this video will give you some ideas if you're also looking to downsize your wardrobe. If you're new here, my name is Eileen, and this channel is all about luxury minimalism and intentional spending. We have a wonderful community here, and I would love for you to subscribe and join us. Until next week, take care, and I will see you in the comment section.